ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, January 31st. Welcome into today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour will be 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We got a lot to unpack today. Thundering Herd falling short in a comeback bid. Should not have been a comeback bid to begin with. This was a team that Marshall easily beat the last time out, and it was a tightly contested game at the Cam Anderson Center, but the Marshall Thundering Herd, despite being down by 20, lost 85-81 to the Georgia State Panthers. Marshall now 13-10, 6-4 in league play. Marshall had a chance to move up a little bit in the standings, be in a spot where it was going to be battling for the second spot. So Marshall drops down just a little bit into the pack a little bit more. The Panthers move up to 4-6 now, 8-14 overall. Now give Obina Anachili killing some credit, 22 points, marking his 1,500th career point. So he's somebody who has done a lot for Marshall University. Pretty elite group. 20th player in program history to reach that achievement. Dezane Mingo led the team with 23 points, and he also had 7 assists. I thought he had a good game. I can highlight him. Jalen Spear had 15 points. Michael Dawson had 12 points. But Marshall just couldn't handle Georgia State early. I think the Panthers came out with a great plan, knew how to handle the bigs. Also, Marshall, I can't quantify this. I'll leave it to you. I can't quantify it, but I didn't feel good watching that game. There was just a feeling about that game. Didn't feel the energy, didn't see the readiness. There's something about that. I just can't put my finger on it. That was not a good game to watch. And Marshall still had an opportunity to win. So that's what makes it even more disappointing, is Marshall was able to come back after putting itself in such a hole. So we're going to break that one down for you. The Thundering Herd trying to get back into the win column against Coastal Carolina. That's coming up on Saturday. We're going to have that game for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Also, you can listen to it on 93.7 The Dog. Our text line this hour is going to be 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This game was marked by early runs, Marshall getting in the hole and then having to fight back and battle back. And you look at the numbers, and again, the numbers aren't going to tell you everything, but it tells me enough. Marshall gave up 40 points in the paint. Marshall only had 22. So 18-point difference there. Marshall did win the battle of points off of turnovers, 24-19. Marshall even had 8 second-chance points. Georgia State didn't have any. Fast break points, 19-9 in favor of the Herd. The bench really wasn't a factor for either team. 7 for Georgia State, 5 for the Thundering Herd. It was just the difference there. Marshall got outscored 51-37 in that first period. Going to the second half, Marshall outscores them by 10, but that wasn't enough. And there were runs. Marshall tried to battle back. Georgia State led this game for over 35 minutes, so Marshall didn't have the lead very long. And the shooting, first half especially for Georgia State. First half, Georgia State shot 71%. Almost everything went in, 22 of 31. The three-point shot was effective, 5 of 10. free throw line, not a factor in this one tonight. Actually, free throws not a factor. 8 of 9 in the game for Georgia State. 5 of 7 for Marshall. I know some of you think that the refs either swallowed the whistle or just forgot how to blow it. But in the second half, shooting still good, 12 of 24, 50%. Not that 71 we saw in the first half yesterday, but still 12 of 24, not bad at all. 3-point shot, 4 of 8, 50% there. Free throws, 6 of 7, so near perfect. For the game, Georgia State shot 61.8%, 50% across the board in the 3-point shot. And Marshall, in comparison, 42.9% in the first, 15 of 35. 3-point line, 6 of 17 in the first, 35.3%. Free throws, 1 of 2. Again, that not a factor there. Second half, Marshall shot better, 54.8%, 17 of 31. The 3-point line, better, 6 of 13 for 46.2%. Free throw line, again, not a factor here, 4 of 5. Marshall got out-rebounded, not by much, 27, only 27 for the Thundering Herd. It was 31-27 in favor of Georgia State in that game. Georgia State got 26 defensive rebounds, only 5 on the offensive glass. Marshall was spread out a little bit more, 10 offensive boards, 17 on the defensive side. 26 defensive rebounds. That's huge. Fouls, 15 for Georgia. 15 for Georgia State. 15 for 15 for Marshall, I apologize. 13 for Georgia State. So 15-13. That was the foul difference there. 2 more for the Thundering Herd. What was interesting is just looking across the board, where was the production? When Wyatt Fricks was on the court, he was out there for 9 minutes and a second. 1 of 4, including 1 of 3 from the 3-point line. He had 3 points, 2 turnovers, had a steal. But when he was out there, the other team was scoring more. He was minus 11 in plus-minus. Michael Dawson, who had 12 points, but he was minus 9 in plus-minus. Nate Martin, 4 points. 4 points, 7 rebounds. 2 of 4 for the night. And he was out there almost 27 minutes. And he was minus 6. Jalen Spear had 15 points, minus 1. So, okay, almost even there. Kay Gibbs, plus 2. Jacob Gibbs, plus 3. Kai Spears, minus 3. He was out there a total of 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Yeah, I'm not worried about those numbers. So the only players in positive or equal that mattered, Dzane Mingo, 23 points. He was even, plus minus. And Obina Anachili Killen, with his 22 points, he was plus 5. So you look at the lines and you look at where the production came from, and you see, okay, Dzane Mingo, obviously, big part of this. Obina Anachili Killen, he was out there, big part of this. And you give some credit to Michael Dawson, Jalen Spear. They were battling. Dawson, unfortunately, even with 12 points, minus 9 there. So there was a lot of he was out on the court almost 30 minutes. So I believe that. I believe that minus 9 on him because he was out there for almost a majority. Jalen Spear was out there the most. He was out there over 37 minutes. And Obina was out there almost 33. Dzane Mingo, 38-44. Mingo, 38-44. Spear, 37-10. Obina, 32-43. Those are the 3 guys out there the most tonight, or last night. I'm still in last night mode. We're going to get your text in this hour, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got basketball coming up this weekend. The Marshall women in action as well this weekend. We'll get your text. It's going to be Open Text Friday. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll go in that direction. And we'll do that with our text line again, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Thanks for sticking around for today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the Tri-State. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
New year, new you, and a fresh start for your car, too. Let's leave the grime of 2024 behind and roll into 2025 with a spotless shine, thanks to Thoroughbred Express. Our unlimited membership means you can keep your ride sparkling all year long, no matter what winter throws your way. Enjoy premium amenities, top-notch service, and the clean car you deserve. Start your new year off with Thoroughbred Express, where we make clean easy. Visit us today and drive into 2025 in style. Head to thoroughbredexpress.com.
Save big on your next project right now at Menards. Get cleaner clothes and softer skin with Morton Water Softeners. Morton's Wi-Fi integration allows for tracking and alerts, which puts you in control of your water while at home or away. Morton's look-ahead technology learns and predicts your water needs, saving you money. Save big on Morton Water Softeners. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Welcome back to our Friday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're going to get your text in this hour. Our Clark's Pump and Shop text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Not only are the men going to be looking for a win, the women will be looking for a win as well. Thundering Herd going to be in Statesboro, Georgia, taking on the Eagles. Marshall trying to get its first true road victory of the season. Had an overtime win against Tulsa in November, and that was at a neutral location. So the Thundering Herd does lead the all-time series against Georgia 7, but it is very narrow. It's 11-10. The Georgia Southern Marshall matchup, I think it's important for this team to start finding some wins quickly to at least establish some momentum. And text line, somebody wanted to talk about this. Texter says, Paul, on women's basketball, Folks is in over her head. Division III, not close to the same thing. She needs let go. Should have hired Kari Pickens, similar to Coach Caldwell. I feel bad for Ace in her senior year. I feel bad for all the players, not just any particular one in whatever year they're in. I feel bad for all the players. And I will always feel bad for all the players. Let me say that first and foremost. A player decides to stay hoping that it's going to be the right situation after a coach leaves and then a new one comes in. So first of all, hats off to those players, because it's easy these days to just say, you know what, I don't think this situation's right for me, and so I'm going to bail. So let's give everyone credit that stays because they saw something in Marshall that they wanted to be a part of. And I think ultimately, yes, you want to make sure you give them the best opportunity to win. I do feel sorry that they're not having a winning season like last year, and I feel bad for how close this team has been, but not close enough to get a win. So, yeah, the season's been disappointing. And so I do, yeah, I'm with you. I feel sorry for everyone. And I always feel sorry for teams that have a bad season because those players committed to Marshall University in hopes that there would be a competitive team on the court, on the field, or whatever the venue is. So with that said, I think the jury is still out on Coach Fulks. Very successful at Division III. You can't argue her record. You can't argue her background. Very successful Division III. Now, is Division III to Division I too much of a leap? Or is that a false narrative? Coaching is coaching. Coaching is coaching, but recruiting is a part of that. The system that you coach, does it apply to where you're at now? When Coach Caldwell came in last year, very kinetic, very high-paced, fast, fun system. And I don't think teams in the Sun Belt were ready for it. Absolutely. I don't think teams knew what hit them. And once this team got its foothold, once this team felt comfortable with this system, off to the races we go with Marshall women's basketball. And so now Coach Caldwell is finding success at Tennessee. She is proving that she is not just a flash in the pan. The SEC, most definitely a more competitive league. So she is going to, of course, have her hands full. But all signs point to Tennessee basketball having a bright future. So we follow Tennessee basketball with excitement because we're all Kim Caldwell fans. Now back to Coach Fulks. And I don't know her that well. Every interaction I've had with her, she's been very nice, very professional. You know, she knows basketball. I get that. But I think another season, give her the opportunity to bring more of her type of players in to run her system. That might be the best thing to do, is just sit back and go, okay, got a couple of years. Let's see what this does. Let's see how this works out. Can you bring in players to run what you want to run, and will it be successful? But to your point, and I'm going to share that with you as well. I did not have Coach Fulks on my board. And that's not an insult to her, and I don't want it to be taken as such. I had, as you indicated from the text line, the texter said Kari Pickens. She was one that I looked at, and when there were names coming out and you were looking like, okay, where can you get the next really great coach? Where can you get her from? And so Kari Pickens checked all the boxes. All the boxes, checked them all. She has knowledge of the area. She's a two-time first-team All-Ohio selection, Riverview High School. She has knowledge of the area, so Marshall isn't this strange foreign concept. It isn't a strange land. I mean, and the same thing with Coach Fulks. I mean, coming out of Kentucky, she knew about Marshall. So, you know, all things being equal, the thing that really attracted us when we were talking about Kari Pickens was the fact that she would have a similar style to what Coach Caldwell brought. And not necessarily like a copycat, but she would have brought this energy I think Herd fans really enjoyed last year. That was the one thing that was always great to go to Marshall women's basketball game last year. It was fun. It was fun. The pace was frantic. The team was able to play to its strengths and maybe hide some weaknesses. A fast-paced Marshall team going back and forth, pressuring, up, down, hockey shift style bench changes to the playing. Yeah, I don't know how to describe that other than it was organized chaos. And so, yeah, I'm with you. Kari Pickens, if the Marshall job came open tomorrow, and I'm not saying that I'm hoping it comes open tomorrow. I just want to qualify this all now. I am not saying anything about Coach Fulks. I will entertain the conversation, but at the same time, if she's given the opportunity 2 or 3 years to get this thing going to where you want it to be, and she's successful, and then she's obviously going to have a long career, hopefully at Marshall University, if she's able to have similar success. If she's not able to have similar success, then if you look to go into a different direction, I would like to see a Coach Pickens type hire. I can't lie to you. She was somebody that we talked about. So I'm obviously on board with her as a selection. It's just that I don't know if you can capture lightning in a bottle twice. And that came up too. Didn't Brad Smith say that in the presser? We captured lightning in a bottle again. And I understand being high on her. She was a well-respected, decorated Division III coach, and that's not saying that Division III coaches cannot make the leap, but I understand where the frustration is because you went from being the Sun Belt Conference champion to a team that has a opportunity to finish near or the bottom of the league in one season, and it's completely different style of play. So nobody is pushing Coach Fulks out. At least I'm not. I'm not here to advocate for her to not be the coach. Give it some time. Let's see where it goes. Give her the opportunity to have a season under her belt as the head coach of Marshall. Give her the opportunity to work the transfer portal, work the recruiting, bring in players that can run the style of play she's looking to do with more proficiency. Maybe she'll make some evaluations, some adjustments on her own, and let's see what happens. I'm not in the business of saying, one and done. I don't know what that means if you cut your losses after 1 year. Because that is the case, we'll be cutting losses with a lot of coaches over a long period of time. I think you give them a certain amount of time and you have an expectation that, okay, this is the path that we're going to take. We understand. It took 3 seasons for Coach Huff, right? They put it all together. Then a championship season. So it took a few seasons, took a few goes at it to get it put together. But then college football maybe is a little bit more dynamic. You can put together a good team yearly if you work the transfer portal and you know what you're doing here. You're able to adapt. You're able to put together the right coaching staff. And honestly, I think Coach Huff really matured as a coach. As far as the coaching, he put himself in a position to surround himself with the right assistant coaches. It was a little give or take here. I think he was really building something here. And so that's the only thing about him is I hated to see him go only because he had worked and built something. But then you have an opportunity to bring in a guy like Tony Gibson, and he's going to bring a different flavor to Marshall football. And it's going to be something that you can get behind because I know this is a phrase that is you're going to roll your eyes. He wants to be here. That's key. He wants to be here, but he has a good reputation for consistency. He's done a fantastic job so far with recruiting, putting together a staff. There's a lot of excitement for football. I don't think football misses a beat. I don't think football misses a beat, absolutely. And I think he's going to be someone that will be engaging. You know, you're going to be able to see him on the street, and you're going to probably be able to have a good conversation with him. He's going to be open. I think he's going to be somebody that we're going to be able to talk to. I don't think that bunker mentality is going to be as prevalent in the Shoey, where you just hole in, okay, don't let anyone in. You know, keep it all in here. So I'm optimistic for football. And for basketball, one disappointing loss at the Cam Anderson Center. I'm not ready to throw the season out just yet. I was disappointed with what I saw yesterday on the court. I know you were. I know Coach Jackson was. You know, I don't need to sit there and, tell you how disappointed I am. I know Coach was. Absolutely. I want to see how this team responds on Saturday. What I want to see, though, is how this team comes out next Wednesday. But you got to win on Saturday first. And the other thing I want to see, I'm curious, has this tempered your excitement a little bit? How many of you were planning on coming to the game on Saturday and maybe are thinking not now? How many of you are still going to the game on Saturday? I've seen some of that online. Texture says, Paul, 3 disappointing losses. You forgot about Troy and Southern Miss. No, I haven't forgot about those. Southern Miss was really, really disappointing. For obvious reasons. There was a reason behind that. I was optimistic, and maybe I was too optimistic. I appreciate the text. Thank you for that. I was too optimistic, maybe. I saw this team find its way on the road. We were talking about going a full calendar year without a true road win. 14 games. And then Marshall finally started putting it together and won 3 out of 4, 3 in a row. And then you come back home and you think, okay, this might be a good opportunity for Marshall to stack some more wins together. A team you just beat coming to your home floor, and you only have lost twice at home. You lost to Toledo. That was a tough loss. You lost to Toledo. And then you lost at home to Troy. And that was a tough loss as well. And no, I haven't forgot about Southern Miss, trust me. That was really a disappointing loss. But here's the thing. If you win that one, that was a 2-point loss. You win that one. Troy was a 1-point loss. If you won one of those two, and JMU was a 3-point loss. If you win 1, 2, or 3 of those, you're sitting pretty right now in the league. Those are some close losses, and I'm not giving points for that. I mean, Georgia State, a close loss. Is it the fact that Marshall hasn't just run away and beat teams? Beat Georgia Southern 71-67, that was close. Beat Georgia State 92-79, and not as close. Beat Coastal Carolina 77-64, not as close. Beat Georgia Southern 81-69, not as close there. You know, when Marshall did beat JMU, it was an 80-78 win, so that was a really close win. Is it the fact that this team, in your mind, could beat these teams and maybe should be winning by more? Texter says, Paul, we are the number 1 seed if we don't even count JMU. That's what's disappointing about it, right? I'm with you right there. Absolutely. Those close losses are going to come back and hurt you seeding-wise, because the other thing is, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it till you get sick of hearing it, but this bracket is so new. The better you do in league play, the better your chances are. If you're among the top four, you're number 3 or 4, quarterfinal, semifinal, championship game, NCAA tournament. If you're top 2, semifinal, championship game, NCAA tournament. Anything after that, you're playing a little more prolonged. But we'll use the women for example. Marshall might be playing on the first day of the tournament and have to run the gauntlet. On the men's side, Marshall might be in the top 4. Marshall might be 5 or 6. So it's a shorter trip to the championship game compared to some. If Marshall could work its way in the top 4, 3 games. Marshall can work its way in the top 2, 2 games. That's why these games hurt so much, because it's so important and there's such a logjam right now in the standings. Back to the text line, Paul. I do appreciate the response on women's basketball. I guess my harshness towards folks, this was a tournament team. Lost Abby and Bree. Big losses, granted, but most of the core is still there, and a good coach adapts her style to what she has not put square pegs in round holes. I get what you're saying about another year to put her system, though. I appreciate it. Thank you. No, I'm absolutely willing to have that conversation, and I'm sure Coach is willing to have that conversation as well, because right now, women's basketball, it's not pretty. I'm not saying they're not trying. I sometimes look in on practice when I'm heading over to the Henderson Center to watch Marshall. Yeah, I watch the women for just a few minutes before I talk to Coach Jackson. I mean, Coach Jackson, comments on how they're practicing. But the reality is right now for the women's basketball team, 6-15, 1-9 in conference, 5-6 at home, 0-8 on the road, 2-game losing streak. First conference win was Georgia Southern. Could the second conference win be Georgia Southern? And then Marshall has 3 at home and then 2 on the road, 2 at home. So there's more to go. But that's the disappointing, cold, harsh reality right now. 6-15 overall, 1-9 in league play. And so, am I willing to give Coach Fulks some more time? Absolutely. I would hope so. Transition year, you go from a tournament team to a transition team. And that's what's probably making this a little harsh right now. 1-9 at this point. Marshall women were on a roll same time last year. And Coach Caldwell was getting people excited about women's basketball. The Henderson Center had a great vibe. And it was a different crowd, too. It was absolutely a different crowd. There were some crossover, but there were more people that were there just for the women's basketball team, and you don't see those folks maybe regularly at the men's game. So women's sports, there's an appetite for it. More people are now, more than ever, really getting behind some of the women's sports. There's women's soccer that's starting to take off. There's, of course, the WNBA. I think the college game is really where it's at right now in women's sports as far as basketball is concerned. There's even professional women's hockey. It's not amateur sports anymore. And so there's going to be a lot more emphasis on how well your women's programs do. This isn't just something that you're filling out a requirement, a checkbox. Okay, women's basketball team, Title IX, check. Okay, have fun. You're putting money, resources, time into it. Yeah, you expect a return. I get it completely, and I'm 100% behind you on that. I hope that the women can turn it around. We will take our next break, come back. We're going to get more of your text in. Clark's Pump and Shop text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up On today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hit the road with the all-new University Ford. Shop our inventory of new Fords and used vehicles starting below $20,000. Fifth Avenue, Huntington. And online at universityfordwv.com. We are University Ford. Driving tradition forward. Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road. Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, all dinners served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Transform your home in one weekend with paint from Menards. Get a paint that combines durability with gorgeous color. Dutch Boys Forever Interior Paint and Primer in One offers powerhouse protection with its stain-blocking, odor-reducing technology. And with Dutch Boys Easy Opening, Smooth Pouring Container. Transforming your home has never been easier. View our entire selection of Dutch Boy paint, plus great deals in our weekly flyer on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% to help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, John Garden, 304-525-1116. And in Barbersville, Marcia Slater, 304-736-6100. Hit the road with the all-new University Ford. Shop our inventory of new Fords and used vehicles starting below $20,000. Fifth Avenue, Huntington. And online at universityfordwv.com. We are University Ford. Driving tradition forward.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you missed yesterday's show, we've got it uploaded now. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or just wherever you get your podcasts. Great interview yesterday. I think it was one of our best shows of the week. Brooklyn Ulrich, let me tell you, she could just take over the show. She's got hosting potential. She could definitely be someone who has their own podcast, has their own YouTube channel. She does videos as well. She's into helping younger players and teaching. So she did a great job yesterday. Fantastic interview. If you missed it, please go back, catch it on our podcast. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or just wherever you get your podcast. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's go back to the text line. Texter says, Paul, I like the Gibbs brothers. I see great potential. Our team has talent and potential. They're staying alive. All teams are playing the same song. Staying alive. I like our BGs. I've danced to that. I appreciate the text. Thank you. I don't know if I want to share this or not, but first of all, yes, I get where Mr. Cotton, voice of the herd has been calling them the Bee Gees. So you got the Bee Gees out there. Yesterday, I'm sharing this now. I hope he doesn't get mad at me. You know what? He probably won't. So we're sitting together during the show, pregame show. I'm with Bill Cornwell. Bill, like myself, we're big hockey fans. You get that. You know that. I try not to bring it up too much. We need a local team, but that's another story. And so we're big hockey fans. One of our favorite movies is Slapshot. I promise, I got a point here. So we're big fans of Slapshot. We're big fans of the Hanson brothers. And so Bill looks at me yesterday, and I'm paraphrasing a lot of this. He thinks, and if Ryan Crisp, you're out there listening, this is Bill Cornwell's idea. He thinks the herd should market the Gibbs brothers like the Hanson brothers. Market them like the Hanson brothers from the movie Slapshot, which I don't know how many of you would get that reference to begin with. And then have them out next to the Marshall Cruiser, the bus, with sledgehammers. I think he said sledgehammers. He'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Like they're tearing the bus up from the movie Slapshot. They're making it mean. That's a line that has stuck with Bill all these years. We're making it mean when asked why you dinging up the bus. And I looked at him like, I don't think A.D. Spears is going to be down with you destroying the bus. He was like, no, just pretend you're doing it. But make it look like, make them the Hanson brothers. What do you think? You think that's a good idea? One, to play off the Hanson brothers from the movie Slapshot. Two, have you ever seen the movie Slapshot? And three, is he out of his mind on that? I think no one gets the reference. Maybe you listening to this show, you get the reference. You think a Marshall kid, you think a Marshall student's going to get that reference? You think a Marshall student, a millennial, a Gen Zer will have seen the movie Slapshot and get that reference? Them tearing the bus up, looking like the Hanson brothers. I did laugh. It was a fun idea. I get it. I like where he was going with it, but I just didn't see the potential in it because it's an obscure reference anymore. How many of you have seen that movie? Other than me. I saw the sequels, and they were terrible. Stay away from those. I actually met the Hanson brothers when they were here with the Huntington Blizzard. We got to go back a ways. I still think I have that Polaroid. They took a Polaroid. They threw me up against the vending machine. They were the nicest human beings you could ask for. But I don't know how many people outside of circles that I'm in, hockey circles, even get that reference. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. You think we should be playing the Bee Gees at the Henderson Center? When the Gibbs brothers are on the court, should there be some Bee Gees music playing? Would you like that? I know my boss would like that. And if you like the Bee Gees, you can tune in to our sister station, 97.9 The River. Quick time out. We come back. We'll wrap it up. More of your text on our Clark's Pump and Shop text line here on The Drive. ESPN 94.1 in AM 930.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly daily updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kitty Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Yes, we've changed the calendar to 2025. Yes, it might be cold outside, but we have just the perfect spot for you to stay warm in the new year. The Cam Henderson Center is the place to be. The Marshall University basketball season is in full swing now, and it's Sunbelt play the rest of the way for both Corny Jackson's men's team as well as the defending champs, the Marshall women of Coach Julie Fulks. Lots of action all month long, so check the schedules and get your tickets now at herdzone.com.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Friday edition of The Drive with our text line still open at 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being with us here on this Friday. Don't forget, we've got basketball action picking back up tomorrow. Cam Henderson Center will be there. Pre-game coverage, the tip-off, all of that. Post-game as well. Keep it locked right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 or on 93.7 The Dog. Back to our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Texter says, Paul, the Cam Henderson Center was alive last night. The Herd made a comeback but fell short. Hopefully the lesson was learned enough to right the ship for Saturday. Go Herd. Appreciate the text and positivity. 4,402 showed up. Will there be more or less than that number on Saturday? Target number, 4,402. Had some kids groups there as well. Baseball team was there. That was nice to see. A little bit more involvement. Fun atmosphere. I like the Henderson Center when it's really jam-packed and rocking. I'd like to see it sold out on a regular basis. Make it a nice, convenient problem to have where more people want tickets than you have available seats. I would love to have that problem again. I was, as a kid, I was just thrilled to death to have those tickets. I would get them now and then. I would sit up in those upper seats, and I was just tickled to death to have those as a kid. And I don't know if you can ever get it to that point again. It was very hard, especially in the 80s, to get a ticket to go see the Herd. It was difficult. And so when I got a ticket, it was really fun. It was cool. I mean, it was great to be able to watch the Herd on TV, and when you made a trip out to the Henderson Center, it was really a fun experience. And I'm hoping that the excitement will continue. I appreciate Coach Jackson outworking the students. They had the trucker hats. I went over and looked at them yesterday. They had a table full of them. So when I got off the air, I went upstairs, and I saw the table with the trucker hats with the Marshall old school logo there. And I asked the person at the table, I'm like, this is where the giveaways at? He said, yeah, these are for the students. And I said, I'm surprised that there's still so many left. We were like 30 minutes from tip. We weren't even 30 minutes. We were under that. And I don't know how many students really made it to the game. But I appreciate Coach trying to work the students and get more students involved coming to the games, making it that much more fun. Winning does help, and I hope that Saturday that enough people show up to really make the Henderson Center a rockin' place. That would be cool. And there's going to be a swim. Don't forget swimming and diving in action as well. So you can make a full day of it. You could go early in the morning, go out to swim and dive, and then you can maybe go get something to eat, come back, go watch the Herd, make a full day of it. Tickets are important. I was really excited when I was a kid to get tickets to go see the Herd, and I don't know, where the drop off is from being a little kid to being a student at Marshall. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I'm like, hey, I get free student tickets now. Texture says, Paul, you build the team and fans and students will show. That's fair. Appreciate the text. That is very fair. Come support a winner. Always come support a winner. If there's a drop-off, yeah, you're going to see a drop-off from fans. But I've already felt that the student participation levels could be better. And I'm not knocking the students. I know this is a commuter university. For a lot of students, head home on the weekends. Football season, you head home Friday night, you're going to go see the high school team play, right? Heading back home, you're going to go watch Herkin play. You're going to watch Polka play. Moorfield. You're going to watch Point play. You're just going home, and then you don't make your way back till Monday. Yeah, it's a commuter university. It really is at times. Weekday games, though, the place should be rocking. That's why I'm worried about the game on Wednesday with that 9 o'clock start time. How many fans are going to be there? How many students are going to be there? How many fans are going to want to stay, get home maybe 11:30, midnight on a work week? That is next week's problem. We've got game time coming up tomorrow here. Marshall taking on Coastal. We got it for you on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Thanks for being a part of today's show. If you missed anything, don't forget you can always go back and catch previous episodes on our podcast. It's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast, or I'll just make it simple for you. Go to our website. You can listen to it right there on the website. And while you're there, you can download the app. It's free of charge. You can listen to the station live. You can also listen to the podcast. We've got a podcast tab right there in the app. So if you want to make it real simple, head to the website. That's where you start. Thanks for being a part of today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.